Sorry if my English is choppy. I'm thinking in Spanish and then translating. It's kind of complicated. So that's my story.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's great. Do you have any questions for us? Yeah, Daria.
Oh,
You don't have to.
not
You
at
don't
the
have to.
moment. Not at the moment.
Okay, good.
I will have, but not at the moment. Thank
Okay,
you.
that sounds great. Dave, I think I saw you had your hand up. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. I apologize for missing last month's meeting. So you may have covered this already. So, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot. So I was reading through the docs in terms of doing the flats. And the one question I had was, I'm renting a lens for the Eclipse. So I'm going to be picking it up in Dallas, but I'm picking it up, when I actually arrive there from California. So, I'm going to go ahead and practice doing the flats with the lens that I have. Is that going to be sufficient? And then I anticipate I would need to do a set of flats with the lens that I have, and then do the flats again the couple of days before the actual event. And then kind of keep both and kind of have both just for calibration. Is that kind of what you're looking for, or will doing the flats with my current lens be enough?
Yes, you are correct that you're going to have to do them again.
Okay.
With your new lens.
Okay.
So, but what I like about you doing the practice with the lens you have is that we also are going to ask some of you to practice, you're going to test and try to break our upload process
Okay.
with flats and darks you take before the eclipse. And
Okay.
so you'll have those flats and then you can upload them in the process in our testing of that system.
Right. And I was just kind of just looking, I've been working super hard at the office doing other kinds of stuff, not the fun stuff like this. But I just noticed that this weekend is a full moon. So it's a perfect time for me to go ahead and practice that. So that's what I kind of just threw that in the calendar and says, all right, family, I'm gone this weekend.
Okay, but yes, that's fantastic. Yeah, using the full moon is perfect because parts of the corona are the same brightness as the full moon. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give that a shot. And so that'll be my practice. I'll be practice running after that. So, but thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Appreciate the clarification.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. And the other nice thing about practicing with the moon is that then you can practice the focus. So in 2017, one of our volunteers practiced and did a great job and was all ready and got set up and got the photos and they were all out of focus. And she was so disappointed, she and her husband. So she said she's going to come back and try again this in 2024. So I know focus can be a pretty tricky part of the process. And I know he was saying that, do you want to talk about what you suggested for that, so people can know?
Yes, thank you. Yesterday, I went and did an antisocial practice. Saturday was a social practice, and I discovered on both Saturday and yesterday, with the filter on, the camera does a wonderful job hitting focus. It nails it completely dead. Or live, or it nails it, right? And then put some gaff tape on the focus ring, hit the your switch on your lens from AF to MF. At least that's for my camera. It may be different on your brand of camera. And take another picture and see if the focus stayed the same. And if it did, you're all good. And then you shave 50 to 100 milliseconds every shot because your camera is not looking for focus. You've told it, I focused it, it's good. Just stay there. And so I took a bunch of pictures yesterday afternoon on my driveway. My neighbors looked at me weird, but what the heck? So um uh, uh so for me the getting good focus was a challenge until I realized that the camera is smart. You just have to make sure that you tell it, I want you to focus on if you're using a you tell it you want it to find that edge between the sun and blackness, and it will do it. And it's just spectacular at doing that.
Yeah, in 2017, I used the autofocus first, like you're describing. Yeah, and my camera did a great job too back then.
Yeah.
I had difficulty.
Morgan,
Sorry.
you've got, oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Paul, we'll come back to you. Well, hold on. Morgan, is this a new question?
Yeah, sorry. So can you see me? I'm Susan Morgan.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So we participated in the 2017 Eclipse. And we recently got a new camera for this one. It's a Dwarf 2. So it's very different. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but it has its own software. It's not like an SLR that you hook up to the computer. It has its own software that you can program, and a range that's similar to the Dwarf 2 telescope. And we've been experimenting with pictures of the moon, and we have the solar filters for it. We took some pictures of the moon, and you can zoom those things in forever and they stay sharp. So we're pretty excited about it. So we won't have the focus problem again, seeing as we practiced that thing a dozen times, and during the eclipse, it jarred just a little bit. It was so annoying, but we're not going to have that problem again. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that camera, has any information or thoughts they want to share.
It doesn't look like it, but I would, are you on the Discord server?
No.
So if you can get on there, or you can send an email to your listserv, the Google listserv you're on, and you can just email out that question.
Okay.
We've got a lot of people who have a lot of expertise, so I would definitely tap into that. That's a perfect question for either the listserv or the Discord. Either one will work.
Yeah, it's the experiments we've done so far. I mean, it's a great camera. It'll be incredible for this.
It sounds amazing.
We're really looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, I think you were going to say something.
Hopefully you can hear me okay. This is my personal PC. I'm used to doing Zoom meetings on my work PC, so my audio is probably kind of low.
We can hear you.
Great. I wasn't able to do autofocus. I just went to manual, and but it, once it's set, it's not changing. So I had no issues with that when I was doing the 2023, annular eclipse.
Right. Great. Right. So you didn't even tape, you just clicked it into manual and it stayed.
That's correct. And just got it, dialed in there. But the moon is no problem. There's a lot of distinct features. And I've got a Canon R6, which is one of the newer Canons. And it was struggling with the focus on the sun. With the filter, with my dark filter in place. So I just went to manual, had no problem getting it adjusted. I'm with probably it was Dave or Dario. I've watched the YouTube video on taking darks and flats, and I've never done that before, but I'm committed to getting it down. And tomorrow night, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. They have a Fort Worth Astrological Society, which I've never been to. I'm going there tomorrow night. So I'm hoping I can latch on. They may wish I hadn't come, but to ask some questions and try to get a brain drain on them. So
Oh, that sounds perfect. Yes, I think you'll find a lot of people who can help you out. And I think practicing is going to be the, the best thing to do. So
Yeah.
we'll have some more social hours where someone is practicing and we can all practice along. Yeah, and he just mentions in the chat, take your flats in the daytime, no need to wait till dark, ditto with the darks. So in fact, we want the flats and darks need to be taken in as similar environment as possible to the pictures you're taking of the corona. So you want the light to be similar, you want, I mean, yeah.
The lack of light,
Or the
right?
lack of light, the temperature, yeah, right.
So the temperature, a lens cap.
Or dark.
If you joined us, watched me make a spectacle of myself on Saturday, I had a lens cap on the camera, a black trash bag on top of the lens cap, and a white trash bag on top of the black trash bag to keep things from getting too hot. And then I took 110 pictures, which I hope that I successfully gave to Raphael for him to do some signal processing on them. Someone asked a question about aligning without a tracker. Do you want to send that individual to the mount, or do you want me to attempt to talk to it? Laura.
So I guess is that person here? But
It's Ira
I
from
don't.
Berkeley.
Hi, yeah,
Ira's,
I'm just, I took some really good photos of several eclipses, but I don't have many photo software skills. So I'm just looking for the best way to align the images so that, because I don't have a tracker on my tripod.
Yes. So, right, in 2017, we didn't require a tracker, and what we did is post-processing on all the images. So there's a bunch of ways to do that. I think the biggest problem we ran across is that, as you probably have noticed, that the sun is moving, especially over 4 minutes, it is moving across your field of view. And which is not a problem in terms of like finding the circle and then aligning the circle and making it line up and then orienting things correctly. That takes some work, but it's possible. I think the biggest problem is that things are getting cropped, so you don't get kind of the field of view that you really want, or that we want. But that's also okay. We will take those photographs for sure. We have some code that we have cleaned up from the 2017 Eclipse, and we will be releasing that. That will be open source to everybody, so you will be able to use that for any Eclipse images you have for past eclipses. What it does is it finds the circle in each image. It makes it so each circle aligns. And then we were using in that code, though, we were using Regulus to align, to orient. So you'll have to basically find stars in your images to align with, which you can usually do in the longer exposure images, but not so much in the others. So there's going to be a little bit of play you'll have to do. For this eclipse, what we talked about at the last meeting is that if you're feeling comfortable, like you've taken photographs for a long time now of eclipses, you could take a partial, you could take a picture of the partial a minute or two before, maybe two to 5 minutes before the actual totality, before C2, and you could then both get a nice crescent as well as sunspots, we'll see. And then we can orient your images with that. And then if you do that after the eclipse as well with the partial, then we'll have sunspots to orient your photographs better with the on both sides of the totality pictures, so the corona pictures. So that's we're not making that a requirement. That's just if we're trying not to give you too much to do, given that we also want you to enjoy the eclipse. So those are some of the things that we will do to help with that. So I also Ivo, I want to recognize your hand's been raised, so we will get to you shortly. I just know maybe did you have anything else to say about a non-tracking? We
No,
also
no,
do
thank
have
you.
a few more track.
I think if Ira wants to go offline and ask in in the Discord, but don't use like an 800 millimeter telephoto. You'll tear out whatever hair you don't have like me. You're going to be more follically challenged to get pointing at the sun, right?
Yeah, and remember to bring a sweater or a jacket because it changes temperature as well
Yes.
as the camera.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Evo, is that how you pronounce your name? Ivo?
Yeah, that's right.
Evo.
Yeah, Evo.
Great.
Yeah, so hi from Miami to everyone. So I participated in the 2017 solar eclipse. I did that in East Tennessee. Yeah, I missed the one last year. I was willing to go and do it, but I totally forgot about it. I'm doing this one from, it's going to be from Texas. I'm looking at the map and I think Terrell, it's like a little town east of Dallas. It's the most optimum location that's going to be like in the totality. Something interesting about me, my first solar eclipse was in 1998. I'm originally from Bulgaria, so it was happening. It was barely crossing the most northeastern part of my country. It was a pretty impressive. It was a total solar eclipse, so it was like it got completely dark, and we had like glass smoked. Like we didn't really have the glasses, so it was very impressive. So when I had the opportunity to photograph the one in Tennessee in 2017, I was like, I'm going. Like I planned my whole year around it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm planning on photographing it with 150 to 600 Sigma lens with my Sony A7 IV. And also, do you mind posting the Discord information in the chat? I just joined last week, so I'm not really part from the very beginning. So I have some catching up to do.
Yeah, I'll get that in there. Maybe, Robert, can you text Hannah and get that from her and somehow get it in there? Maybe get it via email or something. Or we'll for sure back when we get back out, she can get that in. When we go back to the big group, I can have her posted in there. I just don't have it real quick, but we will get it again. Yes. Joel.
No problem. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Joel Boymel. I live in Denver. I'll be hopefully doing this from Lake Erie. I don't know that we're going to have the best skies in Lake Erie, but and like Evo, I just joined this whole thing last week, so I feel very, very behind. 2017, actually, a group of friends of mine and we launched a weather balloon with a GoPro 360 on it. And we're able to get pictures of the shadow crossing Wyoming. That was fun, and it made me want eclipses more and more and more. And the photographs I got were reasonable. They weren't great. I've since gotten a couple of pretty bad photos of the ISS crossing the sun. And I need all the help I can get. So I really just want to, again, since I just started, really need to know where to go to get all of the starting material. And I guess I need to watch your stuff from this weekend.
Yeah, so great. Okay, so are you signing up to do the flats and darks? Did we sign you up on the star listserv?
Don't think so, no.
Okay, so on our website under frequently asked questions, there are instructions there. You might want to take our photography guide, which is 36 pages, and pull the things out of there that make sense for you. And then you can start asking questions about that photography guide. We're sticking a lot of things into the frequently asked questions. A lot of questions are being answered in the frequently asked questions. So Hannah's now going back to our Zoom meetings and finding all the questions that we answered and those we didn't, and just making sure. We've been updating the frequently asked questions, but a lot of information should be there. The photography guide you can find on our website under resources. And then if you click on star as a search term, you will find the photography guide. So if you're not under the star membership, but you, that's still probably a good, that's what we're aiming for in terms of the scientific, the highest scientific valued data we can get from you all. But not everybody is aiming for that, so which is totally fine. We've got many people in different capacities. Do you have a mount, a tracking mount, Joel, or are you taking photos without a mount?
I do not currently. I've been looking at them, and that's something else that I was hoping to get some guidance on what's out there. What again, because I'm going to be traveling, I need something light and easy. I mean, I was looking at like the Ioptron, but I don't know if that's the right way to go. It's reasonably priced.
The Ioptron, there's two Ioptrons, and the more expensive one gets very good reviews.
Of course.
Okay. I bought 5 years ago or 6 years ago the Sky Adventurer before Ioptron, or Ioptron had just come out. I got it used. But my interest at the time was Milky Way photos, and the Sky Adventurer is perfect for that. And the experiments that we did shows that it's perfectly adequate for the Eclipse too. How heavy is your camera, Joel?
So it's a Canon 7D Mark II with a 70 to 300 millimeter lens. So I don't think it's more than a few kilos.
Is that a full frame or is that an APS-C?
I think
70.
no, I think it's an APS-C.
The APS-C tend to be a little bit lighter, and so the 3D printed mounts that the team built can probably handle that. That would be the lightest travel option. The Sky Adventure and the Ioptron are light enough, but you also need a tripod.
Yeah,
and you want a heavy duty tripod. The heavier the tripod, the better.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah, I got a pretty nice carbon backpack. Well, it's not backpacking, but it's a light tripod.
Yeah.
I don't hate to interrupt. I think I've communicated with sorry, Dr. Laura. Is that how you go by?
Yeah, or just Laura's fine.
Okay. And I sent the email to you. My camera is too heavy, and I'd be happy. I feel bad, but I have one of the 3D mounted, 3D printed trackers. I mean, at your if you'd like me to, I'd be happy to pack this thing up and ship it to Joel to whatever address, and I'll take care of the shipping. It's not. I feel badly that mine comes in at 5.5 pounds for my lens and camera. So
yeah, that sounds fine. Yep. If that sounds good to Joel.
yeah, Joel,
that'd be great.
Yeah, Joel.
And then you can test that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got let's see here.
Will it also depend? They're at the same latitude, or I can't remember, longitude.
Right, latitude. Yeah.
Latitude.
So
That's my phone
that's
number.
the one thing to check.
That's going to be a problem because you said you're going to be in Texas. I'm going to be up in on Lake Erie, so we're going to be significantly different.
They're different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you go ahead. There's an easy way to fix that.
You can just wedge to be at the correct angle, right? The key is you want to shorten one leg of a tripod.
Right. Right.
and you want to shorten the correct leg of a tripod.
Again, practice.
Yes.
Less than a minute, by the way.
Yes, we're about to end here. I think great.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
mean, honestly, if I can just add something, honestly, in 2017, I did this, the tracking just with my camera and a tripod. And I use my phone to connect to my camera to record location data that I think you guys were requiring at the time.
Yeah.
So it's not in the section before the I guess we're gonna run out of time. In the section before the total shadowing of the sun, or the totality, what is it called, the official term?
Totality.
It's totality. Like there's plenty of time for you to adjust. Like if you have an open, you can keep your frame a little bit more open, and you can adjust your camera and tripod manually, and it's not a big problem. There's like a whole hour and a half, I think, from the time when the eclipse started to the actual totality, and there's another hour and a half after, approximately. So enough time to practice.
And the sun moves about a quarter of a degree per minute, right? It's 15 degrees per hour, and if I do the math correct,
recording. Does anyone know?
The
They
chats
should.
do get recorded, yeah.
Yeah. And you'll get a text file after you save at the end when you close down the recording. And when the recording is finished, you'll get a text file with the chats in there.
Perfect. That's all those beautiful links you guys put in there. We want to make sure they're all preserved.
Okay, we're back in the main chat.
I think we're all back. All right, Laura, you want to reconvene us for the closing?
Yeah, so I know that so I think Dave in our group had put the Discord link in there. Thank you, Dave. But I'm not sure everyone saw it. So can
I'll grab
Hannah
another one.
put that in there again for people? That would be great. And there we go. Dave's putting it in. Great. Awesome. And so I just thought we could do a little share out with each of the groups. So I will model this, and then I will call on Brian, and then I will call on Jeffrey to do a little summary of what we each talked about. So in our group, we talked about kind of the change. I had a lot of folks who had done the 2017 photography and are now doing the 2024 photography for the Eclipse Megamovie. And so we learned about some new cameras people have. There's a question. In fact, maybe you could put I forget your first name, but Miss Morgan, if you can put your question about your camera in the chat, and then maybe also in Discord later. You could do that. And then people were also asking, they just joined. And so they were asking where they can find information about how to get their camera set up, what they need. They were trying to decide what mounts to use. So we were talking about some people aren't going to be using the 3D printed mounts that we sent them. So they're going to be, they might ship those to other people. So we were talking about how to make a 30-degree mount, a 40-degree mount with a wedge. So that's possible and can happen. So, and then we discussed also that you can find information on our website, the photography guide, while it's meant for those of you who are STAR members, those of you who are not in the STAR membership, you also can use it as a good guide for what you can pick and choose what you want out of that. But it kind of gives you some of the things that you need to think about anyway. So, and that is under resources on the website, and then under STAR, if you click on the STAR metadata, there's a little square you click on, you'll find those files. So that's a summary, a quick summary. We also talked about a few other things, but all right, Brian, you want to give a summary of what you all discussed?
I can try. Ours was a discussion that I think a lot of people's questions
were around kind of specifically software solutions to being able to get the kind of requested sequence of exposures, and that there's a lot of difficulty with certain mismatches between software and versions of operating systems and versions of cameras and the camera software. And so there was a lot of ideas and troubleshooting that was being passed around to try to help folks, get as close to that, what did you call it? The golden
Gold standard.
the
Yeah.
gold standard bracket, right? Which it sounds like is a lot of people are finding to be a difficult standard to
Yeah.
to match.
Yes.
And so yeah, one of the messages I tried to give folks was that not to break the bank or or anything in order to try to reach that, to do the best you can with what you've got. To make sure that you test, as much as you can ahead of time, use the full moon to test out your different solutions and see if you're getting, results that you're happy with. And I also sent the message to, whatever you do, make sure that it's all you're happy with the automation ahead of time, so that during the eclipse you do not find yourself fiddling with the equipment. That during the eclipse you are present for the actual event itself.
Yes, thank you for emphasizing that point and emphasizing that we do recognize this gold standard is not possible for most people. And we put it out there so that you could figure out what you can do with your camera. So I'm just going to say this again because it's worth repeating, and I'm glad that Brian was saying that to you. So that's why we've given at the very end of the photography guide some an example of what kind of modifications. I know some of you are going to have to go to brackets, and if your camera does 5 or 9 brackets, then just take a bunch of brackets for the whole eclipse, and that will be great. And then sit back and enjoy. So yes, we recognize that when we invite the public to do this, this is part of the game, and we will get scientifically relevant data from you all, and we're very excited about that fact. And we know because we got some really great data in 2017. So, okay, thank you, Brian. All right, Jeffrey, what did you all discuss in your mount?
We have a couple of individuals that were having issues with their Skywatcher Star Adventure GTI mounts that I'm going to try to help Flaxman see if I can do a little bit of research on that. But in the meantime, I requested Hannah to create additional channels in Discord that's mount specific. So if there's a mount that you're using that other people are using and you're having issues, just ping Hannah and she'll create a channel for you. And it looks like Amy has a Star Adventure that she'd love to see that in Discord as well. And I encourage, if you're using a similar amount to that and people have questions, I would encourage the more experienced people to help the less experienced people so that they can become pretty proficient at using their mounts. We're also having one that's specific to our mount that's also there. That'll be kind of like a general mount area. And I also made note of that that Hannah and I on Friday did film a video, and I edited it today for specific training on that, on our mount, on how to load it properly so it doesn't do one of those things where it gets top heavy and just does this.
Awesome.
So that was some of the stuff that we discussed. We also discussed using the sundial method to find true north. So I kind of pointed that out in the documentation that's there. It's probably a good idea to take a look at that, especially if you're finding your app isn't pointing you in the right direction. So that we have an alternative method that's pretty low tech and should generally work for our volunteers.
Great. That sounds great. And I do want to just, it turns out there is an app that really does a nice job pointing true north and you don't have to be on the internet. So we'll be sharing that out. Thanks to one of our volunteers for sharing that out. And okay, great. Any last minute? So we'll I'll take a few more questions. We're going to close out at 6 tonight. And then when's our next, Darlene? Can you tell everyone when our next meeting is? We have it on the calendar. It's March something. What did we pick? March 26th, maybe? Hold on.
Give me 1 second, sorry.
No, that's fine. We'll find it here for you. It's March 25th. Yes, March 25th, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time. Office hours are from 4 to 5. So office hours are really debugging problems. These meetings also tend to be debugging problems, troubleshooting. We're also going to have some social hours where you can practice and watch someone practice. He did that, Tran did that on Saturday, and we recorded it. So he said we could post it. So then you can kind of watch that, just so you get a good sense of kind of what that looks like. He started from the beginning, pretending it was the eclipse. So we'll post that, and then we'll send those out. Anything else I have missed telling our volunteers, Hannah or Darlene?
My offer
Nothing I
suggestion
can think of. Sure. Yeah.
between now and the next, 48 days, right? Practice, 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 and practice. On the
Practice. Yep.
moon, on the sun, with your filters on your camera or whatever, just practice. Get it to the point that you can put this together, get it running, tracking, imaging, without even thinking about it. Because on the day of, you'll be panicked, and if you don't have it as muscle memory, stuff will go wrong for you. So practice, and get a big plastic sheet on the ground. When you have it all working and everything's connected and it's running perfect, take every piece off, lay it on that piece of plastic, and that piece of plastic or the sheet of plastic or canvas, everything on there goes with you, because you don't want to turn up there and be missing a cable.
Yes, and speaking of that, we're going to create a checklist, both a checklist in time as well as a packing list. So that, because I was starting to practice myself and I thought, wait, I need a packing list. So we'll share those out too. So those of you who already have a packing list, if you want to share those with us to get started, that would be helpful. You don't need to at all.
Yeah. I was also thinking about making a travel suggestion channel in the Discord, like suggestions for traveling with your gear, if you're flying, if you're driving, that kind of thing. Because I will be flying with my camera, and I have no idea. I imagine I should put it on a carry-on, or should I check it? I probably shouldn't check it. Yep.
We're definitely
Don't
talking
take your
about
camera.
that. Well,
Do not check your camera.
Not checking the
Always
camera.
carry on.
No.
Don't check it.
Lenses, batteries, all in the carry-on.
There's a reason
We're
why
going
I'm
to
driving
Mexico.
1,500 miles.
Oh my goodness. You are
Especially
dedicated,
international
sir.
travel. Anyone going to Mexico or Mazatlan with me? We have a special channel on Discord, especially for that. How to pack
Yes.
and bring our gear.
Mm-hmm. And on the day of, we have, I know we're a little over time, but we have several different voice channels. So I'll try and put a guide together for voice channels so that you can use them. But what you can do is you can jump in a voice channel for Mexico, and that way anyone in Mexico can be in the voice channel with each other. You can, check in with each other, say, oh, it's starting. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And just hang out with each other while you're also photographing.
I won't have data. Where I'm setting up, they don't even have high-speed internet in the town yet.
That's fair.
Yeah, a lot of us will be in the area. Well, not a lot. I mean, there's some pretty big cities under the path this time, but the center line is pretty still rural.
Yeah,
So,
Gatesville communicates with carrier pigeons still.
exactly. And no, yeah, so bring your batteries.
Do carrier pigeons deliver cameras?
Maybe.
Depends on
Okay.
where it grips it.
That's right. Okay, so we'll officially end, just like last time. I will stay. This time I'm just staying for an extra 15 minutes, but we'll officially stop the recording. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't think I can say thank you enough, but I will try. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll just keep saying thank you. So if you want to just stick around for 15 minutes, you're welcome, but you also can just come to one of our social hours, get on Discord. You can email the listserv, lots of ways to communicate. So great seeing you all tonight. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
I'll hang out for 15.
I'm a troublemaker. I'll hang out.
Did you guys all behave? Dar told me she passed
You're
on the
still recording,
message.
by the way.
I know. Yeah, Dar, you gotta
I
stop the
stopped it.
recording.
Sorry, hold on.
We have to have our 15 minutes of just chatting.
Oh, Laura, you're recording. How funny.